The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Books, beauty products, science, fashion, and glam talk. From Bollywood to Hollywood, it's Dr. Afshan Hashmi's radio show every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on W4WN Radio, the Women for Women Network. And here's your host, international speaker, educator, award-winning entrepreneur, and best-selling author, Dr. Afshan N. Hashmi.
Hello, listeners and viewers around the globe, live from W4WN Radio Network in Louisiana. This is Dr. Afshan Hashmi's radio cum TV show. I am your host, Dr. Afshan Hashmi. As you know, friends, I have written 2 books. The first one was a business book, this one, and it is called The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace. And the second book is The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection. In first book, I have devised a business model, which is called Jugaad Management Principle Business Model. And if you put that in your daily practice and your business, you will lead a very successful life and you will have profit in your business. While my second book, which came in 2019 February, there was no trace of coronavirus, but in this book I have devised in a very unique way how a virus can ruin the human population, or you can say bioterrorism, exactly what coronavirus is doing. Having said that, friends, have you bought these 2 books of mine? They are also in audiobooks recently. Wherever audiobooks are sold, these are also in audiobooks. So now I have in paperback form, in audio form, as well as in Nook and Kindle. So if you have bought my book, thanks a lot. And if you haven't bought my book, then please go and buy my book and give me an honest review. I know many of you have bought my book. That's why it is a bestseller, and I thank everybody. But I haven't received that many reviews according to the sales chart I have. So if you have bought my book and haven't given me review, please go and give me a review, and I will be highly obliged to you. Having said that, friends, today I will read from this book, The Modern Mughal Mentality, which is in a case study format, and here I go. The success of McDonald's in India can be attributed to its adaptation of the Indian menu or globalization. India's main religion is Hinduism, and about 82% of the population is Hindu. Cows are considered holy by Hindus. For Hindus, cows represent fertility and nurturing. The Indian population is roughly 12% Muslim. Muslims have a taboo regarding pork and pig skin products and do not eat pork products. The majority of Indians are vegetarian. McDonald's has developed a menu specially for India with vegetarian selections to suit Indian taste and preferences. McDonald's does not offer any beef or pork items in India. The challenge was to change the form of the worldwide popular hamburger to make an entry into India. The population of 1 billion was undoubtedly a promising opportunity for McDonald's. Realizing that an alternative to beef and pork was necessary, McDonald's accepted the challenge and created the Mac Aloo Tikki burger, known as Mac Aloo Tikki TM, especially for the Indian vegetarian customers. Aloo Tikki is a potato patty with spices. McDonald's ensures that vegetarian products are 100% vegetarian. The company even developed vegan mayonnaise especially for Indian consumers, and their soft serve ice creams are 100% vegetarian. McDonald's makes great efforts to ensure that the vegetarian products are segregated from the non vegetarian products from the moment they are stored at the suppliers until they are served to the customers. Creating popular vegetarian version of the famous hamburger was indeed a classic case of product adaptation used to gain a foothold in a new market. In addition to complying with dietary sensitivities of its target market, McDonald also addressed the price sensitivity of the Indian consumer market with its value meal. In order to expand their product line, McDonald made a chicken and fish option available for the non-vegetarians. McDonald's understood India's cultural values and attitudes and embedded them into their business plans. Jugaad seems to be at its best when confronted with a problem that needs immediate, quick improvisation. The problems that the cow is considered holy by Hindus and the pork cannot be eaten by Muslims made two of McDonald's primary ingredients off limits. Creating new culturally appealing alternatives and vegetarian items in India was a very good quick fix to the problem. This is a great example of Jugaad inspired globalization where genius and innovative thinking, fueled by religious sensitivity to Indian consumers, led to a quick fix of the Indian menu and enabled McDonald's to attain their objective of being successful in India. So, this was a case study, and the whole book is in the case study format. So I just wanted to remind you, if you haven't bought these two books, please go and buy these two books and give me an honest review. Also, I want to tell you that I also do run author services where I can be your publishing consultant and tell you how to write a best selling book from idea development till your book in your hand. Also, I can bring traffic, unlimited traffic to your web page, as well as I can review books, movies, and cosmetic products. Also, I can be your beta reader. So please go to my website www.afshanhashmi.com or www.drafshanhashmi.com or my radio show website http://www drafshanhashmisradio.com. Having said that, friends, I just wanted to tell you that I have two great authors which will be coming in the next segment. So, right now, I am going in a commercial break and will be back, and then I will be in conversation with those two great authors, and they have also written a very nice book. So, having said that, let me go to the commercial break and will be back soon.
Would you love exposure for your business, product, or service to over 300 million potential listeners? Send an email to info@talkformedia.com. And now let's hear from some of our sponsors.
Chapter 2: How Jugaad Leads to Multi-Sector Success Stories in India, including definitions of the Jugaad Management Principle business model. Of the book The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace. Inspiration: True Jugaad is an inspiration on how to create products using technology that meet the price-value equation. According to a Harvard Business Review article featuring expert Prahlad and Mashelkar, most innovation programs are built on the assumptions of affluence and abundance. We see the rich and the young in both the developed and the developing countries demanding environmental friendly products and services. They also believe that affordability and sustainability are crucial to driving successful business today. New technologies and radical business models are important not only to penetrate mass markets in India but in the entire world. By reconfiguring all areas of the business structure, they will pull.
A monstrous infection is spreading worldwide. OMG, is this a simple infection or a deliberate attempt to ruin the human population? Or maybe it's bioterrorism. What is this global infection and who is spreading it? Help us find out. Go to Amazon and search for The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection. The human race needs your help to make this go viral. Go to Amazon.com and read The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection to find out what happens next. Go now! The world is depending on you.
And now, back to Dr. Afshan Hashmi's radio show.
Now, friends, I would like to welcome two authors. One is Pam Siegel and the other one is Leslie Zinberg. Welcome, Pam and Leslie, to Dr. Afshan Hashmi's radio cum TV show. I'm honored to have you girls here today. And first, I want to give a background of both of them. Pam Siegel, MPH, MFT, is a licensed marriage family therapist in private practice in West Los Angeles. She is a certified mindfulness therapist and implements meditation and other mindfulness tools to help her clients with a variety of issues. She is actively involved in the mindfulness and yoga community and has her own daily practice and website, which is www.pamsiegel.com. Welcome, Pam, to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Leslie Zinberg has co-written two successful parenting books, The Pink and Blue Baby Pages and The Pink and Blue Toddler Pages. Both books were featured in national publicity campaigns with appearances on the Today Show, QVC, and local television and radio segments across the country. Leslie is the co-founder of the grandparent website www.grandparentslink.com. Welcome, Leslie, to the show.
Thank you. We are honored to be here. Thank you very much.
And even I am honored to have you guys on my show. So now let's be in conversation. And my first question is, what was the impetus for writing Grandparenting, Renew, Relieve, Rejoice?
Well, what we wanted to do, here we go, Pam is showing it. In our book, yes, Grandparenting, Renew, Relive, Rejoice, was to create a grandparent toolbox filled with ways to better communicate with our grandchildren. About 8 years ago, I asked Pam to write an article for my website, which is called grandparentslink.com. I knew that she was a therapist and she was specializing in mindfulness, plus she was a grandma to young grandchildren, and I thought she would be just the perfect person to write an article for our site. And indeed, she was. She wrote this beautiful article, and we had such a fabulous response that for some reason, we decided to write a book. And voila, here we are, having written this book. The book, Grandparenting, Renew, Relive, Rejoice, offers 52 moments. And at the top of each moment, there is a quote, then there's directives, and then there's a grandparent story to accompany each moment. We asked a lot of grandparents to write stories, and these stories kind of really make the moment gel. They're funny, they're poignant, they're heartwarming, and they make the book kind of sparkle, I want to say, about all of that. The book is divided into 5 categories, and I'm going to read them to you. They are growing yourself, respecting others, tuning into your body, experiencing the present moment, and meditations. Now, there's different ways to read this book. You can keep it by your bedside, and if you want, you can just open the book and read about one moment and think about it and think how you want to use that moment. And then you can practice it. And then you can tell your grandchildren about it or your children about it, because the moments are good not just for grandparents, but for parents. Or if there's an issue in your family, let's say it's sleep, and you want to read about that, then go to that moment and read about that. So the book is just open it up anytime and you will find something you want to read about. It could be about taking pleasure in nature. It could be a smile. It could be talking about a walk. It could talk about being positive, preparing for sleep. There are so many things that, as I said, that we all need to think about. And these moments highlight the feelings that you may have and make you comfortable on dealing with them. The title of our book encompasses renew, relive, rejoice. Now, we say renew because when you are with your grandchildren, you feel renewed. You feel good. They show you what the stars are all about. They talk to you about the moon. And that's such a great feeling, because as adults, we sometimes take so many things for granted. And the grandchildren renew the feelings in you and make you feel good and make you pay attention to some of the things that you've forgotten about in your life. Also, they want to talk about their parents sometimes with you, or that your kids may want to talk about themselves when they were younger. So all of this is part of renew. And it's part of reliving, because when you're talking to your kids about what they were like when they were younger, or you're talking about what you were like as a parent when you were younger, you're reliving. And then rejoicing. We all so much rejoice with each other when we have these grandchildren in our lives that are fun, that are warm, that add humor, and that add love. Our book really is written to enhance the grandparenting journey. We want your presence, Presence, to be much more important than your presence, Presents.
So, what is the main theme of this book?
Okay, well, I'm going to take that one. And again, Dr. Hashmi, thank you so much for having us. This is quite exciting for us. To piggyback on what Leslie said, the main theme of our book is presence. And it's not only presence with our grandchildren, but presence at work, presence with other loved ones, presence just in life and just showing up in life. And to be present is to be mindful. Actually, Leslie and I are the first ones, to our knowledge, to bring in the building blocks of mindfulness with grandparents. And we utilize these concepts of mindfulness throughout our book. And I'd like to just tell you what they are: beginner's mind, non-judging, patience, trust, non-striving, letting go, kindness, acceptance, and curiosity. As Leslie mentioned, I'm a licensed marriage family therapist with a certification in mindfulness, and I do use mindfulness a lot personally and with my clients for such things as depression or anxiety. And, mindfulness has really been around for a while. I'm sure most of you have heard of mindfulness, but the term is often misconstrued. The simple definition of mindfulness is paying attention to what is happening in the present moment without judgment. Now, I know that sounds pretty easy. It sounds easy to do, but in fact, it takes a lot of practice and patience. Now, mindfulness can be practiced formally or informally, and we actually have both of these types in our book. Formal mindfulness is when you actually set aside a time, like a yoga session, a meditation, a sitting meditation, or a body scan, where you actually just go inside, you feel what's sensed in the body with the breath as an anchor. also, it can be practiced informally, where you just kind of go throughout your day and just focus on things that are, just be present in little things going on in life. Personally, I'll just take a minute to talk about how mindfulness has affected me personally. And it has really honestly changed my life. It's changed my nervous system, calmed my nervous system, and it's also made me much more present. When I raised my own 2 children, I thought that I was so great going through the day, multitasking away. And little did I know, I really didn't, I missed so much. I wasn't really paying attention. But then who knew about mindfulness? I didn't. Now today, I'm definitely different, although for sure not perfect. I try to meditate on things that bother me and try to let go of things that aren't perfect. And again, when I'm with my grandchildren or anybody, actually, I try to be present and I try to pay attention and do one thing at a time. Today, I'm definitely not perfect, but the one thing I do know is when I'm not being mindful, I'm least aware of it. Whereas in the past, I wouldn't even have crossed my mind.
So we have a lot of questions, and before we go to the third question with you, it says, do you find as a grandparent you treat your grandkids better than you treated your kids?
That's the question. That's a great question.
That's a great question. I think I'll take it and then I'll have Pam step in. I think that it's very different being a grandparent. I think your patience is so different. And your outlook is different. And of course, now that we have done this doing the mindful, Pam and I, as we wrote the book, we spent, we worked together every Friday because she has a job and I have a job. So we did this. It took us a few years to put this book together. And as we spent the time together and talked about our grandchildren, we realized how much more mindful we could be. So I think that the enjoyment is very different. I think you feel more under the gun when you are first, when you're a parent. Pam, what do you think?
I think it's absolutely true. I think we're definitely grown up. We're more mature. We have a different amount of time. We have a different perspective on our life. Okay. For sure, my training as a therapist, which I didn't do till my daughter was in high school, has affected how I am as a grandparent. We are just different. And also, we're not with them 24/7. Let's be honest. That makes a big difference too. But for sure. Definitely, it's not that we love them differently, because I love my children, but I also love my grandkids. But it's just a kind of a different feeling.
Okay, so now I will go in a commercial break and then we'll be back soon, friends. So please be there. After the break, I will be in conversation with these 2 great authors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you love exposure for your business, product, or service to over 300 million potential listeners? Send an email to info@talkformmedia.com. And now let's hear from some of our sponsors.
A monstrous infection is spreading worldwide. Oh my God, is this a simple infection or a deliberate attempt to ruin the human population? Or maybe it's bioterrorism. What is this global infection and who is spreading it? Help us find out. Go to Amazon and search for The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection. The human race needs your help to make this go viral. Go to Amazon.com and read The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection to find out what happens next. Go now. The world is depending on you.
The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection, Chapter 1, 1964 to 2018, and this is the sample track, and it is read by Dr. Afshan Hashmi. In a sprawling bungalow in Potomac, Maryland, USA, lived Dr. Honey Singh, a board-certified internal medicine and family practice physician, along with his beautiful wife, Baby Singh. Baby Singh was a fashionista and was funding women's causes through her Honey Babe Foundation. She had a ladies' book club by the name of Baby's Glam and Glitzy Club, which had many glam and glitzy ladies who were professionals living in Washington, D.C., Potomac, Maryland, Virginia, and even Beverly Hills, California, as well as elites from all of America meeting at her place on the last Wednesday of every month, discussing various aspects of charities they wanted her and Dr. Honey to fund. In this club, there was a wide spectrum of career women. There were doctors, lawyers, actresses, business owners, and models, to name a few. In these book club meetings, members would come prepared after reading a book of a famous woman author, and that author was even invited from any part of the world to give her presentation, followed by a Q&A in this prestigious and elite gathering.
And now, back to Dr. Afshan Hashmi's radio show.
So before the commercial break, we were in conversation with these two lovely ladies and authors, Pam and Leslie. And so I have another question for them. Of the 52 moments in your book, which ones stand out for you?
I'll start with this. I think that, as Pam and I worked, I mentioned that we worked every Friday together. We spent a lot of time listening to each other and understanding each other. And one of the big moments that I think that is important is the word listen. There's a quote by Alfred Brendel. The word listen contains the same letters as the word silent. And I think that that is so necessary for us to think about. We need to listen to each other, especially now. I think that's, very, very necessary. And listening to our grandchildren is invaluable. You will hear what they like, what they see, what they feel, and they want to listen to you. So we always say that deeper listening brings a richer experience. If you are not listening, you are not present. The other thing that I happen to love and I think is important is practice compassion. As grandparents, we can teach that. We can teach them compassion and we can teach them empathy. We are their role models. We can teach them by reading to them. We can teach them by being with them. We can teach them by taking them and volunteering. And we can teach them by talking to them about themselves and their friends and their family. So practicing compassion is one of the top moments that I like.
And I'm going to jump in here too. As Leslie mentioned, we have our book is divided into sections. And the one section that really speaks to me personally and professionally is the section tuning into your body. I think we can all be more mindful and present in our own bodies. The moments that are in this section are smile, walk, listen, speak, see, smell, taste, touch, eat, acknowledge hunger, fullness, scan your body, appreciate your body, and prepare for sleep. I'm just going to mention one moment that I often use in my therapy practice and personally, and it's called the one with acknowledge hunger and fullness. And this is great for us. It's great for parents. It's great for kids. So we can all learn to notice our hunger fullness. And there's a little exercise that I like to do, and it's in the book, is using the hunger scale. So you rank your hunger on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being Thanksgiving full and 1 being starving. And you actually use this tool 3 or 4 or up to 5 times a day. You kind of close your eyes and you kind of go inside and you kind of rate your hunger, and you kind of note it, and just it really starts to help you manage your appetite. Notice if you're hungry, if it's really about hunger or if it's really about something else. Are you bored? Are you anxious? So this is a very good tool, and this particular moment really speaks to me. I have one more briefly that I would like to talk about, and that is begin anew. That's another one of our moments. And the quote that we have from this, it says, "In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the experts, there are few." And I think as grandparents, as we get older, not all of us, but sometimes we begin to get a little more set in our ways, have a few more biases, a little more tunnel vision, judgmental, a little more. And one thing that we can really learn from our grandchildren is that the whole idea of beginner's mind, and that's a big, like I mentioned before, it's really a big component of mindfulness. So the thing about the kids, our grandkids, they see things, if you notice, like little kids, they see a truck going by or they see the moon at night and they're so excited. They have so much innocence and wonder and amazement of just the small things in life. And even big kids, as they start to get older, they still have beginning to form biases, but they show a lot of excitement and amazement on new things. So we can certainly be inspired by our grandchildren to really look at value and look at each unique moment and experience and value it for what it is and not bring in our own biases and judgment. So
wonderful. So how is your book relevant to what is happening now with COVID-19?
Well, it's interesting. We did not write this book with COVID in mind, that's for sure. The book came out exactly a year ago. And so it's interesting to see now how valuable it is really during this period of time. One of the moments that we talk about is setting an intention. Now, I think that it's so important for all of us in this crazy time, this surreal time, to set intentions about what we want to do in our day or what we want to do in our week or how we want to behave during the day. So the way to set an intention, there's different ways. But one of the things that I do is every night I say to myself, or sometimes I write down, what I want to do the next day. It could be I'm going to exercise in the morning. It can be I'm going to work. It can be I have a couple of friends I want to call that I haven't connected with and I want to speak to them. These are the ways that I set an intention. And this is really so valuable because then it makes you feel like you have some order in your life. And I think that we all need this order and makes you feel present right now about what you want to do and how you feel. It's also great to do with your grandkids, whether their grandkids are with you or whether you are going to be talking to them virtually. You can set an intention about, let's say you're playing a game. And our kids really like to win. That's, the most important thing. They always want to win. But I think that it's so necessary for them to just enjoy the process and just have a good time playing the game. And so if you're playing a game, you can talk to the kids about, let's play, let's enjoy one another. And it's not so important who wins. So I like using setting an intention that way when I'm talking to my grandkids. The other thing that has come to me kind of loud and clear, and we have seen that people really need to listen to during this COVID, is practicing patience. So in my house, my husband and I are here together all the time right now, and we are not used to being together all the time. So we have to be careful with each other. We have to kind of learn to dance, learn to not step on each other, and learn to make space for each other. And there is a quote that we have in our practice patient moments, and it says, "A moment of patience in a moment of anger saves 1,000 moments of regret. So this is something that I have to remember and that I've told my friends and our friends about. We have to think about how we want to handle the situation. Do we want to explode? Do we want to make it work? Do we want to think about what we're saying? Because right now, patience is truly a virtue. So take the time and practice the patience, whether it's with your husband or your friends or whatever it is in your life. For us, that's a big COVID moment.
Pam, do you want to add something?
Yes, there's quite a few of our moments in our book that are really, really relevant to what is happening right now. And of course, the whole concept of mindfulness is very relevant because it helps us really, really pay attention to our health behaviors, like, washing our hands, wearing a mask, keeping our distance, not touching our face. So that's really an important piece, which is the main theme of our book. But basically, there's one that's really important right now. One of our moments is called Take Pleasure in Nature. And that is the one thing right now that we can do is we can go outside. We can go into nature. We can hike, go to the beach, take walks. That is one thing, especially in LA, we're completely locked down, but they're not taking that away. And one thing we know is that nature does calm the nervous system. It really is very good for our mental health. And I think that is, I know for myself, if I live near UCLA and if I didn't have my walks up to campus or just walking, I don't know what I would do. I mean, it really calms my nervous system and it makes me feel so much better, just, despite what's going on in the world right now. The other one that is kind of a fun one, which I did not make it up, but it's called PAM, P-A-M, and it's an acronym for Pause a Moment. Going back to the whole concept of mindfulness is to be in the present moment. You take a pause, you just calm, you see where you are, and it really helps with verbal and behavioral choices. Okay, so PAM, pause a moment.
That's very cool. So we have another question, and they said, do you find that to be easy to do? Like, I think it is related to what Leslie was saying about being too much together in the COVID-19 era with your spouse. So what, Leslie, do you have anything more to say about it?
About
That's
being
what they're
together
asking.
too much?
Yes.
I think that I never felt like I really had to set any rules in my life with my husband because he went his way and I went my way. I think now, I don't want to say that there's rules, but I think there has to be some kind of guidelines to say, I'm not giving you lunch every day. Or boundaries. I think you have to have some, and for both of you, or to say, this is my time. I'm going to work today from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Please give me that time. I need that. And I think that communicating that is very important so that you each understand each other and to give each other, pretend you're in business together because, well, you are in business together actually, but just understand one another. If you close the doors, knock on the door, respect each other. And I think that's what's so valuable and so important right now, because I think it's a good lesson for all of us. And one of the things that really works for me is what Pam just said, PAM. Because sometimes when I want to say something, although I may be practicing patience, I need to pause a moment, take a breath before I say something that I might not want to say, or that I say something that's really profound and that I understand what my partner wants and that he understands what I want. I don't know if that helps.
But add one more thing, Leslie. I mean, the thing about our book and mindfulness and all of these moments, I just have to say that this is a work in progress. There is no such thing as perfection.
Exactly.
Like some days are going to be better than others. Some moments are going to be better than others. So it's not, none of this is, I don't think any of this is easy. I think it is a lot of work, and you have to practice and practice. And sometimes you're not going to do well, and sometimes you will. So I don't want anybody to think that, oh, we have it down and it's so easy, because it's not. It's not.
Yes. Thank you. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you have any tips to help grandparents stay connected with their grandchildren during this time?
Sure. I think we both have tips. One of the things that I think is really important is to understand what your grandkids like or don't like. So listen to them, because maybe I have a grandson that loves to play the drums, and he will go online virtually and play the drums for 20 minutes. He thinks that's fantastic. That's what you want to do. You want to know, I mean, is your grandchild interested in dancing, or is your grandchild interested in sports? Are they reading certain books? Know what they are interested in so that you can communicate with them that way. There are a couple of apps that we talk about. One is called Caribou, Caribu. And that one has books online. It's free. And you can download it, and your grandkids can download it, and you can read online together. You can play games together. And that's kind of great. Another one is House Party, where you can play games like Pictionary, and you can draw with each other and guess what each other's drawing. That's great. Another couple of games that we like are Scavenger Hunt. You can do a scavenger hunt in your house, or you can set it up with the parents of your grandchildren and do it at their house and do it virtually. And that way you can find things together and play together. Right now you can do Elf on the Shelf and do an Elf on the Shelf in your house and move the elf around every day so there's something different. You can bake together. We've done things where, we bake at my house and they bake at their house, and you're baking at the same time. Or you can bake for your kids and then send them the cookies or whatever you're making. These are all connections that I think are really important and that we value. Pam, you got more ideas.
We have 2 minutes left. So, Pam, do you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, it's just quickly. I mean, I think also grandparents can look at their hobbies. Like, I have a good grandfather friend who's an artist. He does art lessons with his grandkids virtually a couple times a week. I have a good friend who's a retired teacher. She does all kinds of games and reading. It just depends on what you like too. But I also think we should check in with the parents and find out what they need. That's also an important point.
So where are your books available, and can you again show the cover of the book?
It's available on Amazon. Here's the cover of the book. Am I doing this right?
Yeah.
Very good. Available on Amazon. Grandparenting, Renew, Relive, Rejoice. And this is kind of how the insides look. Leslie was trying to tell you each page has a moment and then a little grandparent story. So it's really easy to read, and it's reader friendly.
So what is your next venture?
We are playing with something that involves parents now and grandparents, because the communication is so necessary.
Yes.
Right, Pam?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to focus it with I think leaning towards the parents and get some of their feedback on how they would like their grandparents to help out or be with them.
So if people want to reach you, can you please give your websites or emails if you want to, or how they can reach you?
Sure. Well, our website is www.grandparenting.rejoice.com, and you can talk to us that way. Pam, give them your website.
Mine is www.pamsiegel.com. That's my professional website.
And I also have the website, that I have a grandparenting website, which is called Grandparents Link. It's GrandParentsLink. So you can also reach us, with www.grandparentslink.com. And I think that's enough waste.
Yes.
So thanks a lot, ladies. It was a beautiful.
Dr. Hashmi. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It was a beautiful conversation, and I really liked it. And I would say, like, you are the grandmamas of America.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Be in touch. Okay. Thank you. And bye-bye. So now, friends, this was two lovely authors I was in conversation with. So before signing off, I also want to remind my books that these are my two books, The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace, and The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection. So please go and buy these two books. They are available wherever books are sold, both in and it is available in three forms: no Kindle, paperback, as well as audiobooks. And I have narrated my audiobooks. So if you have needs to narrate your audiobooks, you can contact me at Afshan at drafshanhashmi.com, and my website is www.afshanhashmi.com and www.drafshanhashmi.com. Having said that, friends, next week on Wednesday at 6 p.m. US Eastern Time, I will be live again in this radio come TV show, and I'll be talking about the joyous moments of Christmas. I will be presenting some Christmas fashions, so please come and listen to what I have to say. I will give you some fashion tips and some cool things we will do the next week. Okay, friends, so now I sign off and I say bye bye and cheers. And this is a very, very unique cup, which when I opened my first company, I got this made with my photograph, so it is very near to my heart. So I always say cheers and bye bye, and see you next Wednesday at 6 p.m. US Eastern Time.
You have been listening to Dr. Afshan Hashmi's radio show on W4WN Radio, the Women for Women Network. Tune in live right here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Would you love exposure for your business, product, or service to over 300 million potential listeners? Send an email at info@talk4media.com. And remember, if you missed any part of this show or want to hear it again, find our featured show on iHeartRadio, where all past episodes are available on demand 24/7. See you next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time.